What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to a bite-sized 6-day late Mando Season 3 Episode 1 review. We're very late. A lot of stuff's been going on lately, but we just thought we wanted to throw something out before Episode 2 came out, and just for the record so that we can look back 2 years later and go, oh, those were our thoughts on the Mando Season 3 premiere, how wrong we were. However, yeah, this will be a very quick one, but we still just want to throw our thoughts out there real quick. Mike, how are you going today?
I'm doing great. It's finally feels great to talk about Mando and stuff and some of our thoughts on the premiere and stuff. But you know, we went through some type of thing. Really, you had a really long week and lots of things being thrown your way. How are you doing now?
I'm doing much better now. I had that's the hospital just texting. No, we're all good. I was in hospital for a day, but it was nothing major at all. It was just a small asthma flare up, which because of our time zone difference, when one small curveball is thrown in the way, it just affects everything. And then, we tried another time, and then something else comes up, and it just kind of that things happen. And anyway, but we're all good now, and hopefully we have a clean run home to the Mando finale and through celebration and everything. But we're here now, and that's all that matters. But yeah, this was some premiere, quite a bit to talk about. Mike, what did you think?
Overall, I'm gonna be honest. First time I watched it, I was very underwhelmed. I felt like this premiere needed to make a statement that we were back, and I feel like it really didn't do that. However, I've rewatched it 3 times since the premiere and since its debut, and I tried to watch it again today, but couldn't find the time. But I actually love it. Like I'm just like, you know what? Well, I didn't make like a big statement and stuff. I really think that they needed this moment to recalibrate, recenter. I feel like this was a moment to kind of slide ourselves back into comfort with this series just because of the crazy, messy reception that the Book of Boba Fett has gotten, the series has gotten, and some of the choices there. I mean, we even heard in the interview some of the creators backtracking on some of the stuff, on some things, or being more weighing into other things that it's not really popular in the fandom right now. So I don't know. I just felt like this. Well, I didn't make like a big statement. I really think that they were recentering themselves, recalculating the trajectory of where we're going with this series. So it just felt like a nice, hey, we're back. I felt like it was nice that we got to see some old familiar faces, and we got to, see some setup for what's to come. So I thought it did its job. Like I said, I really wanted a statement from it, but it really didn't do that. But it was good. I think it's the weakest of all the Mando premieres for sure. But I still had a very fun time with it, and I rewatched it 3 times, and I have a good time with it every single time. How about you? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm much the same as you. I think it was just okay. I mean, it just felt like a preview episode to the rest of the series, and almost like a 40-minute trailer for this is what's coming in the Mandalorian season 3, which is fine. The show's allowed to do that. I just would have preferred if they kind of hit the ground running. But yeah,
Right.
you're absolutely right. They did, I think, want to recenter themselves after the mess that the Book of Boba Fett sort of left the state of the show in. But yeah, I had a fun time with it. I sort of just shrugged my shoulders at the end of it, though. I was so like, okay, like the things that I enjoyed most of the episode had nothing to do with the actual episode, like the Purgil, for example, or even just like seeing the Zellans. I think they're what they're called.
Then Zellans, right?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to rewatch it, so maybe I'll change my tune once I have. But yeah, overall, it was just okay for me. I think the show just really, at this point, and I'm hoping it can pick up again, it just lacks substance. Like, I'm not emotionally invested in the show really at all. I think the emotional investment for season 1 and 2 was the Din and Grogu relationship, but now I feel like that we've already reached sort of the climax of that story arc, and now we're sort of just roaming the galaxy with them for fun type deal. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
a lot of the emotional investment's been taken out of the show, and the Book of Boba Fett just made the series step like four steps backward. But hopefully we can sort of build up, and by the time of the finale, I'll have completely changed my tune and said that okay, now I'm completely emotionally invested in this show. So yeah, it had its ups and downs, its ups and downs. And there were highlights and lowlights. But Mike, what did you really like about the episode? What were your highlights?
Highlights, Bo-Katan. Even though
Yeah, yeah,
for me, she was just the best part of the episode. I don't know what it is, but I just love Katie Sackhoff's performance of Bo-Katan. I mean, I remember, so I met Christian Harloff, the leader of the host of the SEN network, where used to be Schmoes Know, and he was a host at Collider. I met him at Celebration Chicago, and I always like listened to all his stuff. And he actually dated Katie Sackhoff for a little while, like decades ago. So she would always they're good friends now. So she would always hop on his stuff, like on his podcast and stuff, on his shows. So she was like kind of like a regular guest. And so I remember this one time she kind of teased, like, so what's coming up with you? Any special projects? And I was gonna say Harrison Ford. Christian Harloff had like a Star Wars mug just laying there. It was like a Chewbacca one, I think. And she was just kind of like, eyeing the cup. And I remember the internet went crazy for what could this mean? Could she be coming back in animation? Like, what's going on? And it turned out to be the Mandalorian. And I've just been watching so many interviews with her and her whole work process, that when she was here at Celebration Chicago, she talked to Dave Filoni and was like, hey, you're doing this Mandalorian series, which they had just previewed. Like, Bo-Katan, I'm sure she's still alive during that era. And he's like, we'll see. And she got a call shortly after about coming to the Mandalorian and stuff. So for me, it was so amazing. Like, I just think it's the Ahsoka transition from animation to live action is very rough in appearance, in voice, in all that, in character. It's very rough. It's a very rough transition. However, Bo-Katan is very much seamless, very seamless. The only thing that people are talking about is like, how is Bo-Katan looking so young when she's like 70 or 80 years old during this time? If you look at it historically, whatever. But I think Bo-Katan is just such a fresh flavor in here and such a comfort flavor that I'm like, we have been spending so much time with her in Clone Wars and Rebels. And now she's in here in the Mandalorian series, offering a very unique perspective of someone who's, been very closely tied to the Mandalorian culture and fighting the wars. And every time we meet her, it's just always something new going on. And now
yeah, yeah.
she's just sitting there not caring. Her fleet's gone, her friends are gone. What's going on? I'm hooked, So I think she was just the best part of this. And even the musical cue, I'm like, oh, that's where we're gonna find Bo-Katan when Din is flying in with Grogu, and you hear a track of Bo-Katan's theme of what was presented in her like first appearance in season 2, like that kind of like scream track. So I was that's Bo-Katan. So I thought that she was like the best part for me, my favorite part of the episode. And I also liked, sorry, that was a really long thing, but for me, I just love getting to that part. And also you could totally feel the elevation in budget. You could feel it lacking in some places with some of the visuals, but
they reused a lot of props and costumes. Not props, I meant to say costumes. Sorry, from Book of Boba with those pirates, and from just previous seasons of Mando.
So I'll get into that, what I disliked, but in the like portion, absolutely loved the reunion feel that it had to it. I just felt like it was a nice recalibration of where recalculation moments, and so I felt that with Mando meeting up with Grief Karga, us learning about Cara Dune's fate, and where she is now. That was you were looking forward to that. You were like, one of the
things it was just the throwaway line I predicted, but
you were like, I want to know where she's at. Is she dead? Is she alive? That's what we got. But the second favorite thing, that space fight is so cool, so cool. I love the space fight so much. I think I've said it on this podcast a couple times already. But the Razor Crest, I love the Razor Crest. If you look at my background here, you can see that I've spent $15 on like a metal, like plated thing of the like a ship, like just a spaceship, just a thing to display, toy, whatever. And I just love the Razor Crest. I love visually how it was presented in season 1. I love it. Season 2 just got beat up and it felt very clunky. But the space fight felt really natural, felt very cinematic. and I thought it looked great. Like compare the season 1 dogfight that Mando encounters to this one. It's just it's night and day. So those are pretty much all the things I liked. How
Yeah.
about you?
I mean, I'm similar. I don't want to repeat anything you said. I liked the Bo-Katan stuff. The Purgle thing was just a cool like look at that
Yeah.
moment. I like the Anzellans. I think the opening scene is all else that I have to say was okay. Like it just felt like a welcome back. We're back. Remember the Mandalorian stuff? Well, this is where we're at again, and it just felt like a good picking up point. So I liked that. But yeah, I guess to move on to some of the more lowlights, I've already touched on it in my overall thoughts, but I actually completely disagree with the battle. To be honest, I thought it was so generic and so just eye rolly and shrug of the shoulders for me. I was just like, okay, can we just get to the meat of what this show actually is again? Because it just felt like, it just felt like a promotion for the show itself, which was just strange. And yeah, I really do not. I'm not sitting well with the decision to bring IG-11 back. I mean, why does this show undo every good thing it does? The IG-11 sacrifice was fantastic. The Mandalorian and Grogu departure from each other, that was fantastic. Both things, like the penultimate things from both the ends of season 1 and 2, have just both been undone now.
Yeah.
It's like, so what was the point of all this? So yeah, I just feel very so about this. I'm keen to just like kind of dive into the series from here, because it feels very like, like I've said a million times, it just feels like a preview episode. So that's sort of my overall thoughts. Do you have any lowlights to add to that before we wrap up?
I think the opening scene visually just looked very weird, and
I
also
agree with that.
The Mandalorians, I mean, when I watched it back, I'm like, are they dumb? They have jetpacks, like, and they were shooting out at the outer shell of the beast, and I'm like, I thought you guys would, shoot at the mouth or something. So I was not too pleased with the opening scene, but I kind of liked it because I kind of thought it was like I thought it might have been like a flashback scene, like we were gonna see Din's first like initiation to the cult, really, and it just turned out to be something else, which I really liked, and it was a grand entrance by Mando, which I liked. But the opening scene, I thought that visually was just weird. But yeah, that's all about that I dislike from the episode.
Yeah,
and the costumes.
Sure. Yeah, I think the only other thing to add was like, you can just see how hard. I don't know if this is like Disney pushing hard for this, but they want as many cute Grogu moments in these episodes as possible, which is, it's cute, but it can be a little bit draining at times. We don't even like Grogu. No, we love the little guy, but yeah, it feels a bit Disney-fied, I guess. I don't know if that's even a term, but when we just see Grogu doing something cute every 2 seconds, like we love him, but enough. When he hugs the little Anzel, that was adorable though.
Oh, I was about to say, so no huggy for you.
Yeah, no, I did like that one. But yeah, that's our sharp review of the Mando premiere. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back tomorrow to do another Mando review, but for episode 2. We haven't really talked about the Bad Batch. We'll kind of get to that at a later point. But yeah, I mean, that episode was okay. Anyways, so yeah, we'll see you guys all tomorrow. May the Force be with you. Adios.
Bye.